Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Everybody wants to play the sport to win the goals, and maybe just to rule the world. The other just want to pull you in to cash the win, and maybe just to pick up a girl.
YouTube, this is VidHead85. Can we talk for a minute? Alright, great. Well, today, in November 2012, we saw a few things happen. But in the lead up to that election, we found out about a horrible medical condition that was just rampant throughout the election cycle. And that condition is definitely covered by the Affordable Care Act because, of course, Obamacare does cover pre-existing conditions, and Obamacare and Affordable Care Act is the same thing, by the way. Thanks, Jimmy Kimmel, for pointing out that people love it when they think it's something, when they think it's not Obamacare. Well, I found out about some interesting little things about Romnesia, and here are some other symptoms if you possibly might have Romnesia. If you think that Reagan was a good president, though he turned our country from an international creditor to an international debtor, left the biggest deficit in history, but hate Obama, though he cut it in half, you just might have Romnesia. If you admire President Truman and others for expanding health care to the poor, but hate Obama for making it universal, you just might have Romnesia. If you thought surveillance under Bush kept us safe, but under Obama it's a way to spy on you, then you just might have Romnesia. If you were heated that veterans' memorials were shut down when the government got shut down by your party and said nothing about food stamp cuts to veterans, then you just might have Romnesia. If you think that Benghazi, 4 dead in Benghazi, was a bigger deal than the 80 dead in 13 different embassy attacks under George W. Bush, then you just might have Romnesia. If you think that a $70 million website not working is a bigger deal than the $24 billion that Republicans cost us in that shutdown, then you just might have Romnesia. If you think that we spent way too much on SNAP but don't bitch and complain about crop insurance overpayments, you just might have Romnesia. If you think that MSNBC is biased and watch only Fox News Network and their ilk, you definitely have Romnesia. If you're a governor or senator that crusaded against stimulus or the Affordable Care Act and asked for money from those laws, you just might have Romnesia. If you think that George Bush was elected twice cleanly but think that voter fraud had something to do with swinging the election Obama's way, yeah, Romnesia. If you want to cut Medicaid but all 10 of your kids are on it, you just might have Romnesia. If you think that Sandra Fluke should pay for her own birth control, but Rush Limbaugh should have easy access to Viagra, yeah, I don't think I need to say it anymore. Romnesia. If you think that a half-term governor of Alaska is more qualified than Hillary Clinton, who has a secondary educational degree, she was First Lady of Arkansas and the U.S., former senator and former Secretary of State, then yeah, you just might have Romnesia. If you think that a baby deserves to be protected in the womb but wants to cut WIC, Head Start, public transit, and infrastructure, you just don't have Romnesia. You've got shit for brains. If you hate the fact that jobs are leaving for China, and then you nominate for a man for the presidency that sent them there, you definitely have some Romnesia going on. If you demand as a presidential candidate 10 years of tax returns from your potential running mates but only release 1 year of yours, you just might have a case of Romnesia. If you think that Newt Gingrich has strong family values after leaving his first wife and second wives while they were sick, and gay couples who've been together longer than all 3 of his marriages shouldn't be legally married because a man makes a mistake, you just might have Romnesia. If you blasted the DOMA and Prop 8 ruling and talked about unelected judges running roughshod over the will of the people but applauded the Shelby decision, you just might have Romnesia. If you are a white conservative who says never forget to Pearl Harbor and 9/11 but tell blacks and Latinos to get over racism, you have a terminal case of Romnesia and you have another diagnosis with that. You have shit for brains. So now this is by no means the conclusive list of Romnesia symptoms, but it's just a great starter piece. This is partially political, this is partially humor also, but, please comment on any more Romnesia symptoms because it's hitting the T-Publican politicians and a lot of Tea Party folks like nobody's business. Please urge them if they live in a state that has Medicaid expansion. to go get that Obamacare and get treated for this horrible condition. All right. Thank you. Stop Romnesia. Thanks for letting me talk to you.